hatred that is inside me is remarkable. Like, if it was strength, I would be a superhero. I can hate people just instantly. Just the glance of the back of their head, I can just go, prick. Oh, he's gone now, he's behind that wall, but I know he's a prick. Out there somewhere, being a prick. And it's the hatred that everyone in this room, you'll feel it once a year. You get it once a year where you're having a bad day and you just take it out. In your head, you take it out on someone whose fault it isn't. You get to the train station and there's someone in front of you whose ticket won't go into the thing. And they seem to think that the solution to that is to try exactly the same thing 1,000 times. Shoving it in there. The train left hours ago, still there. Tickets eroded, hand is just a blooded stump. And you come up behind him. On a normal day, you see that, and it's annoying, isn't it? But you know it happens. You go, oh, Jesus, you've never been on a train before. Right, you go around the barrier. I'm sure there are good people in here who would see that and think, oh, I could help in this situation. Excuse me, are you okay? Oh, that's your seat reservation. Just turn it round, okay? And just go, oh, don't worry, we'll do it. Take care, bye. I'm not one. But then you have that one day a year, don't you, when it's out of your control. Everything from the minute you open your eyes has been shit. And then at like 5:30, this is the last straw, and you come up behind him, and before you can even stop yourself, you say, oh, I wish you were fucking dead. You catch yourself, you know, I'm not that person, I didn't mean it, right? But in that second of selfishness, all you can think is, if you died earlier today, I'd be through that barrier by now. Holding up my existence. I feel like that most of the time. And not about individuals, I elevated beyond that. I now hate just society, just all the time. And summer is the worst, right? I like winter. Winter's a good time for me, because obviously in winter people stay inside, don't they? And they eat stew and they cry. It's a good season for me, winter. Just put veg in and cook it until it's just been in there hours. There you go, Swede. Fuck you. I'm staying there until I'm ready for you. I'm too tired to chew now. It's November. Chewing was June. Now I just need mush to shove in this thing so I don't die. That's why with summer, what happens is people go out, don't they, and they do stuff and they have opinions on it and they talk about it, and that's when I start getting pissed off, right? And what happens is when we have good summers, you have real trouble. And it didn't used to be a problem, because in this country, obviously, in my lifetime, I don't remember many actual summers. I remember like days where you open the curtains in the morning and you go, sunshine, let's have a breakfast barbecue. And your partner go, well, it's 7:30 in the morning. You go, I know, but there's clouds coming, so let's really, just get out there and set fire to the shed and put a fucking sausage on it, please. Because it's raining now, doesn't matter. That was summer, it was fun, that one, wasn't it? Right. Now, the last couple, you had like days where you open the curtains on Monday and it's sunny all week. And that's dangerous. You know you're in trouble because you turn the weather on and the weather people are outside showing you the weather. If they were indoors, you wouldn't believe them, right? But they have to be outside. You switch the weather on and Carol's there going, hello, I'm outside in a field, look at the time and look at your time. It's happening now, this. It's the sunshine up there, look, it's very hot. It's not too hot, I'm not dying, but it's because it's quite far away. It's temperate, it's nice. And, I know it looks like it's just on me in this field, but it's actually, because it's so far away, it's on all of us, we're all experiencing sun. And I know it's Monday and you've got to go to work, but don't worry, it'll still be sunny on Friday as well. Right? And that's the bit where we all go, I beg your fucking pardon. Still sunny on Friday, is it? When I go out and get shit-faced? You telling me I can get shit-faced outside now, are you? And I can email people now and that will happen, will it? Shit-faced outside on Friday. Right, I'll start emailing everyone. You email everyone you know, and I don't know how it happens. You must be able to put into the email bar, everyone at desks. And it just sweeps the city, right? And whichever city you live in, there's the place you all go, right? And I live here in London, which is, has to be done for a bit, doesn't it? Yeah, 4 very strong opinions there. You make up your own mind how you deal with that little debate. Yeah. All good points. I'm obviously not from here, I'm from the north, but you can't be a comedian up north. I have to move to London, and when the Queen's not looking, I steal a bit of gold, and then one day I'll go back up north and build a house with it. I'll go, it's in what left, he's come back with gold. Fuck building houses, let's make him king. for now. And I think most people in London don't live here, and those that do live here don't like it. Nobody who lives in London likes it, otherwise Boris Johnson wouldn't be in charge of it. This wouldn't have happened if anyone cared about this city. Boris Johnson is in charge of a city, a man who is basically a human wet fart. I mean that because he's very much like a wet fart. He's very funny at the time, but you have to check for damage immediately afterwards. What's amazing about Boris Johnson, right, is you see like a clip of him a fortnight where he's trapped down a well or being bummed by a dog or something like that. What you forget is he's at work all the rest of the time doing shit. He's in there, right? And he'll leave. He's leaving in a year. We're going to find out what he's been up to all the rest of the time. The new mayor will come in and go, you know, he was turning the Thames into custard from the bottom upwards. The bottom 6 foot of it now is custard. He's just written here, I wanted to see if you could run across it. Ha ha. Unbelievable. So anyway, what happens in London is everyone goes to the river. Everyone migrates to the river when it's sunny, and they all started emailing each other. This time this year, last summer, they all emailed you, Ian, mate, you seen the Bertie Beaver? Right? I don't know the rhyming slang for weather. I haven't. Something like that, wasn't it? Bertie Beaver, West Ham legend. Right. You seen the Bertie? And they go, yeah, I've seen it, mate. Sunshine, innit? Funshine. Do it out the bumshine. You coming down the river then Friday night, 5 o'clock, get shit-faced and go, no, fuck that, mate, 4 o'clock, work through lunchtime, 4 o'clock, yeah, nice one, that was a bananas, 2 for £1, So what happened in London last summer, everyone went to the river Friday, 4 o'clock, right? I didn't, I had a gig, I went to my gig, right? Obviously no one turned up because they'd all gone to the river, right? That doesn't stop me, I'll quite happily spit bile onto empty seats for 2 hours, wandering up and down, everything's been terrible and one thing wasn't symmetrical, Come out of the gig, I get to Waterloo at about 11 o'clock at night, I just want to go home, right? And that's when I realise the carnage that has happened across London. A whole city pissed more so than any stag do I've ever seen in my entire life. And you can tell that because there were no groups of 2 people, right? No 2 people are sober enough to walk in tandem with another person. People are just drifting off, like grown men just smashing into train station walls because they've seen Harry Potter and they think one will open up to that magical world where there's that girl where she's not old enough in the films, but she is now, so it doesn't count. I saw her doing that speech on feminism, I thought, fucking right. Blood all down themselves. People's limbs have stopped working, they're just dragging themselves across the floor, hoovering up chips. This is a good point to interject to say, this show is primarily about your enjoyment, right? I just want you to laugh as many times as you can in the next 6 hours. Not the 3rd hour, that's dance. Don't laugh then, you'll upset me. But I just want you to laugh. I want you to leave feeling better than you arrived. That's what I think my job is. But I recognise quite a lot of pressure on comics at the moment to be political and edgy, and I don't really do that. So to compensate for that, throughout the gig, I've peppered a few household tips. That's nice, isn't it? Just little things to help you. If you're paying attention, you take them away with you, and they'll make the rest of your life better. Now, you can't argue with that in terms of value for money. What I'm saying is there might be better comedians out there than me, but not one of them will tell you something about a baking tray that'll change the way you look at a Sunday roast. I'm going to do that tonight. Right at the end, you've got to stay, don't be leaving. No, and this is the sort of thing to look out for. I don't flag them all up, so you have to pay attention. So this, I don't really like talking about Wheeze and Willie. This routine is... Wheeze and Willie. That sounds like... Well, there should be more than one Willie in that sentence, but again, that's not really what I want to get bogged down on the recording of this show. He's really precise about how many dicks are in his routines, isn't he? I don't like talking about Wheeze and Willies, really. This routine is really about saying, don't keep your new toilet rolls here. It's not a good place for them, this. I know if you're sat down, that's behind, isn't it? That's a little secret. You think, what harm could possibly befall them there? This is right in the friendly fire zone for us, that. Sometimes it's 4 of them on a little wooden spike like that. We'll get every one of them. Every one of them. A line straight down like that, like a mark of Zorro if he was called Ian. And we're as upset about it as you are. It only happens to me in other people's houses. I don't keep mine there. Sometimes you're a guest and it happens. You think, well, I can't tell him. How can you tell someone that without it sounding deliberate? When you go back downstairs, you go, John, your coffee's on the side. Fantastic. Quick one. I just pissed on all your toilet rolls. It sounds like you've gone looking for them, doesn't it? I found all them once in the cupboard. You can't own up to that, can you? So I do this. I assume most men do. That's why I tell you. I just turn them round. I hope you've got a radiator in there, or at least a through draft. Sometimes there's other men in the house. You turn it round, there's his one. Cheeky sod, I didn't say that. Never be the fourth man in. There's no angle to cover from there. He's got to lob him out the window and stay up for half an hour, come down in tears, and they won't ask then. So all you need to know from this, I'm not a big fan of this region of my body. I don't think it's fit for purpose, to be honest. So I certainly wouldn't stare at it for 20 minutes while I was having my hair cut. And I couldn't work out what this little window was for. And then I thought it must be for him. Must be while he's cutting my hair, he can have a little peek over like that. I just make sure I'm not getting up to anything down there. I thought there must be so many dirty old men having a little fiddle in there when the blanket goes over. Shoot back inside, son. Take your time, take your time. I thought they've had to cut a little window in there, a little security window, to shame them into behaving themselves. I said to my wife, I can't believe you sent me there, it's full of perverts. She said, I'm so sorry. I said, we don't have them in women's hairdressers. And I thought, well, it must just be a man thing then. So I started asking other men to see if any of them had been given this special gown. Not one. Anywhere. I'm the first one who got given one of these. They've obviously all got one in the back. I must have walked in a bit crotch heavy or something. He's just seen me out the window. Oh, shit. Will you get that toucher's gown out of the back? I think we've got one coming. So I thought, now I have to find another man who's been given one of these to be sure I'm not the perviest looking man in the country. So I was carried on asking people. It took me weeks. I was having a pint with a mate and I said to him, have you had that thing cut out at the barber's to stop you masturbating? He said to me, I think it's so you can use your phone in there, isn't it, John? Oh, yeah, it is, yeah. I said I knew that. I was only joking what I said. What sort of penis-obsessed maniac would think anything else? What sort of lunatic would see a perfectly normal advance in design to embrace new technology and spend nearly a month of his life sometimes approaching strangers in the street? Oh, you can't wank in the hairdressers anymore, can you, lads? They bloody watch you now, don't they? Perverts. Oh, that is the wrongest I've ever been about anything. Usually, if you're that wrong, you at least think you might be wrong. And that should have been a key point in my life to think, right, I need to let go a lot of this anger I carry with me, you know. Maybe all the other stuff I'm getting upset about, I'm just wrong about. You know, maybe that guy who cut me up on the M62, if I'd have looked more closely, I'd have seen his wife was in labour on the passenger seat, and that's why they were driving erratically. They were rushing to the hospital. I could have let that go, couldn't I? Certainly didn't need to follow him for an hour with my full beam on. I'd love to be able to tell you that. I got angrier. I got angrier that it was for phones than the other thing, because it upset me more that we'd invented a new gown for the barbers for a younger generation who just can't sit still for 10 minutes and tolerate the same shitty small talk we've had to for generations without now just getting their phones out and messaging people. And it makes me feel very antisocial, because I'll be honest, I don't like the people who are next to me half the time. The idea that at given moments when I finally got an excuse to not answer the phone, I would willfully get it out to find people to send pictures to. I mean, you know, sometimes you're at a train station, you're just waiting for a train and you're just enjoying being on your own. And you look down the platform and you see a friend, someone who you like, and then they look down and see you, but you can't help it. Your first reaction is, oh, fuck. Because they're going to come over, aren't they? You can't both just skulk back. Shall we pretend we didn't? Yeah, OK. It's not that you don't like them, but I like you on Thursday at the pub quiz. That's when I like you. This is my time now, and you're going to steal it. They wander off. You haven't prepared anything, have you? So it's just blah, 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 blah. Now, I think Twitter is the worst thing to happen to the country. That's what Twitter is. People just babbling on all the time, mindless crap. And I speak as someone who's on it. So, you know, this isn't... If you're on Twitter, I'm not saying, you know, you guys need to put your phone down and engage with your kids. You know, sometimes I'm on Twitter so long, I don't know where my kid's gone. She was there. I go on Twitter, she's gone. I have to say to my wife, where is she? University? I just kept clicking refresh. I thought I was hungry. I can't stand Twitter, and it's not the news feed, it's the messages. Obviously on Twitter you can message people directly, and the messages I get, they upset me, they cause me stress. And when I say that, people naturally assume I'm talking about abuse, you know, like trolling and things like that. Now, don't get me wrong, I get some abuse, not as much as I think I deserve, but I welcome the abuse. If you're bored, if you've got 5 minutes, send me some shit on the internet. Really cheers me up. Used to upset me, and now it just makes me laugh. It's the vitriol behind it. These men seem to get so angry at me, I find it quite flattering. I didn't think I was that ubiquitous, to be honest. I thought, if you turn the channel over, I'm not there. I haven't got the depth. But they get so upset, these men. I just think, how are you so upset about me? I've always thought I'm a blue bottle, not a wasp. Now, don't get me wrong, you don't want either in the front room, do you? But you want to get out of your chair for one. Now, a wasp you get up for, don't you? It's got a dagger on its arse. It is a threat to you. At that moment, a blue bottle's just annoying. It's the noise, isn't it? That's what I feel like I am. If you had a hard day at work, you're flicking through the channels, you hear that, it can be grating. Fuck off. You don't get up, do you? You just think, well, it's a hot day and the window's shut. It'll die in a minute. That's what my career is. If you don't like it, it's unfortunate, but it'll be gone soon. Don't worry about it. It'll just come in the lounge one day. I'll be on your windowsill like that. You can just blow me behind the radiator till you do the hoovering. It's nothing to worry about. So anyway, I got back from America, right, and the speedboat incident, and I looked back over the things I haven't done in my life and the things I regret, and obviously, wanking under a tree is one of them. It's not the main one, if I'm honest. The main thing I regret when I look back at my life is relationships. That's the thing I've never done because of this part of my brain which assumes things will end badly, right? And the reason I assume relationships end badly is the overwhelming majority of evidence. Seems fair, doesn't it? I mean, I would believe in relationships a lot more if when you saw old couples who've been together all their lives at restaurant tables, they were pissing themselves laughing and just, you fucking take it. Oh, he's done that joke again with the Parmesan. Every night for 60 years, it still makes me raw. They don't, do they? They stare anywhere but at the face of the person they are. Oh, shit, yeah. Oh, food's here. This is new. Don't you say anything now. Just let me enjoy this. I know you're there, I can smell you. And what happens if you are single and you have been for a long time, what you find is people will try and say encouraging things to you. I have friends who can say, oh, don't worry, John, there's someone out there for you. Oh, there's someone out there for you, right? Which is obviously lovely to hear, but what they don't seem to understand is what they're also saying implicitly in that sentence is, you are the one for someone else. That's the bit of it I couldn't deal with. I like the idea there's someone out there I'm supposed to be with. What I don't like the idea is that I could find someone I love and find, humorous and intelligent, and I could look in their eyes and say, hey, do you know what the universe had lined up for you? This, for the rest of your life. That's what you get. I don't know what you did, but you are being punished for it. You're going to wake up to this forever now. Better put some coffee on. He's had a dream about filing again. I alphabetised all of them, pal. I just didn't want to be with anyone, right? And people could relentlessly trying to set you up. And one friend in particular kept saying, oh, John, I've got this friend. She's perfect for you. And I said, well, if she's a friend of yours, keep her away from me. How's that? Because I will ruin her life. I don't want that to affect our friendship. If she's a friend, but you think, yeah, she's a friend, but I wonder what she'd look like crying. I wonder what my friend would look like if she'd been crippled by one too many tedious comments around the household. Can I just talk you through how we're supposed to load the dishwasher? If that's the future you've got in mind for your friend, then you carry on with this little mission. But otherwise, leave me out of it. That's what I thought was fairest, right? But she didn't leave me out of it. What she did is then she introduced this person to all my other friends. So my other friends got on board and then had a house party and they all got on me at once. They said, oh, you should meet this girl, John. And then she said, oh, I'm telling you, John, you're going to end up marrying this girl. And that really pissed me off. Because she's mapped my entire life out there, hasn't she? With a girl I've never met before. She's basically saying, yeah, there's someone out there, John, who likes snooker and sandwich bags. And that's basically all you need, isn't it? Because there'll be no need for chemistry with you because you're such a simple little twit. So I got really annoyed. I thought, right, I need to end this now. I need to put an end to all this. So I said, right, give me a number then. And they all got really excited. And I got a number. And they said, oh, do you want a name? I said, no, that'll do. I stored it in my phone as my wife. Look what a dickhead I am. Right? Because I didn't want to get into a conversation. I didn't want to have to say to them, do you know the reason I haven't got a girlfriend is because I don't like myself. I don't want to be with anyone. It's too much information to share with your friends, right? The reason I didn't like myself through my 20s is, one thing, I don't think I'm a very good person, right? And that's because, although I do good things every now and again, I'll be perfectly honest with you, I don't do good things so that the world gets better. I do them so that people see me do them and they like me more. I'm happy to admit that. That is why I do most of the good things I do. And there'll be people in you who are like me, and you'll know you're like that, because every now and again you'll do a good thing by accident and nobody will notice. And you'll be pissed off. That's not a sensible reaction, is it? Good people shouldn't think, what a fucking waste of time that was. Could have kept that money. Good people think, oh, well, good deeds, is it soon reward? Right, I was in a pub, right, I bought a drink, I held my hand out for the change, right? It's not the biggest hand you're ever going to see in the world, but, a few quid will slot in there, lovely, right? So go on, pop it in there, right? And most of it went in there, but then £1 hit that bit, right? Quite a heavy coin, isn't it? And that's quite a spongy bit of the hand, so it didn't just flick off, it went boom. Right? And I watched it, I couldn't go after it, could I? Because I dropped these ones, and I had my pint in this hand. So I watched it fly through the air and land right into a charity collection bucket. Awkward, right? And when I say bucket, I don't mean like an actual... I mean those things they shake, where that gap is only just big enough for £1 on its side. As a shot from there, it was absolutely remarkable. Right? If I'd meant that, I would have been the coolest person who's ever given money to charity. I'd gone, cheers. That one's for the charity. See you later. But obviously she knew I didn't mean it, right? So she's not looking at me, the barmaid, thinking, oh, what a lovely guy giving that £1 away. I know what she's thinking. I can see her face. She's thinking, oh, look how annoyed he is. I was annoyed, because you can't say anything there, can you? You can't say, you haven't got a key for that, have you? I didn't mean that. That was it wasn't an accident, it was your fault. I told you where I wanted it, and you sliced the pass. You owe me £1 and another one for the distress. Give me £2, please, right? I didn't know what to say to get out of this situation, right? So I stared at the thing, and I could have been there 15 minutes, I have no idea, right? And then I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll get out of this situation using my sense of humour. Which is a slight problem, because if I've learned anything since I became a comedian, it's that I'm not funny. Not in real life, out and about, when you fire out gags. I just make people tense, because I try too hard, and it's weird. I do little voices and act shit out, and like the rhythm of humour is supposed to be fast, isn't it? People are chatting, you go, oh, bada 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 bada, and someone will go, oh, bada bada bada, and they go, ah, bada bada bada. Not those words, obviously, but the rhythm of it is there, isn't it? If I do a joke, it tends to go, oh, bada bada bada, and I'll go, oh, bada bada bada, and I go, oh. What do you think he meant by that? It doesn't seem to fit in with anything that's happened in the last week. I'll just tell you what I said, and this will be the best illustration, right? I'm there holding my hand out, right, and I looked at her, and I looked down, and I noticed the charity that was being collected for, right? So here's my little zinger to get me out of this situation. You can have this. I said, oh, knowing my luck, I'll probably end up getting prostate cancer now as well. What sort of penis says that to someone? I really stared at her as well, as if to go on, enjoy that. I'm a professional, it's fine. I'm that funny all the time. Right. So naturally she said the only thing you could say when someone says that to you. She went, yeah, you might. Really going to enjoy this beer. That's one of the reasons I didn't want to be with anyone. The other reason is far more unpleasant. The other reason I didn't want to be with anyone is just the hatred that is inside me is remarkable. Like, if it was strength, I would be a superhero. I can hate people just instantly. Just the glance of the back of their head, I can just go, prick. I go, he's gone now, he's behind that wall, but I know he's a prick. Out there somewhere, being a prick. And it's the hatred that everyone in this room, you'll feel it once a year. You get it once a year where you're having a bad day and you just take it out. In your head, you take it out on someone whose fault it isn't. You get to the train station and there's someone in front of you whose ticket won't go into the thing. And they seem to think that the solution to that is to try exactly the same thing 1,000 times. Shoving it in there. The train left hours ago, still there. Tickets eroded, hand is just a blooded stump.